Welcome to the Millennial and a Boomer Walk into a Coffee Bar podcast.
The very best podcast to get your life advice in the form of a grande caramel macchiato in a venti cup, 1/3 whole milk, 1/3 almond milk, 1/3 soy milk, double the amount of vanilla syrup, caramel wall in the cup, no caramel drizzle on top, upside down, of course, tall ice cup, whipped cream, rounded lid, one shot extra espresso, decaf, cinnamon sprinkled on the top, and for the name, that's David, spelled Dafydd, please.
Or to get your business, finance, and life support black coffee advice, I'm Dan, I'm a Boomer.
And I'm Chase, the Millennial. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, welcome back for another exciting opportunity in our podcast to talk to the Gen Z special guest.
Yay!
Who's excited to be here?
I'm so excited.
Well, you and all 7 of our listeners are really going to love this episode.
I know, but if they watch the video, because Scout is so cute that we may get double that. We could have 14. Huh?
She's also single, loves long walks on the beach,
Oh.
and what else?
I like a mustache.
Oh, interesting.
A man bun.
Man
You
bun and a
don't-
mustache, yeah.
Wow.
And you like football.
Did this turn into The Bachelorette? Yes, I love football, actually.
And your football team is going to a bowl game,
Yep.
and you're going to
I'm
watch
going.
that, right? You're going to
you're
go
going. I
live.
didn't know
Yeah.
that.
We can
Yeah.
get tickets, so
Nice.
I'm excited about that.
Very exciting. So, but most of all, we like your insight on your generation. It's actually pretty good. And you like coffee too. You prefer
Yes.
tea, but you like coffee. So now that we've got all that out of the way, I think we can jump right into it, right?
We can. One thing I want to just call out before we get started is for those of you who are listening, probably tuning in because you heard Scout was on the show, and we would love a 5-star review. They actually help a lot more than I knew when we started this whole thing. And if you have fun with us over the next, 15, 20 minutes, feel free to leave a review, maybe a comment or two on the old YouTube channel. For those of you single bachelors out there, you can watch the YouTube version and get a eyes on Scout. You can send us an email if you would like to schedule the date. We'll take application.
Get a free coffee cup.
Oh, look at that. She's giving
Sliding
away
that
our
in.
swag. By the way, you are a you told me today you're officially
Social media marketing certified.
social
Sorry.
media marketing certified. Wow, that's cool.
I also have 20,000 followers on TikTok.
Oh, wow. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. That's part of the.
Perfect.
And hold on, there's another and here. She's been sponsored before.
That's right. You have with
Yep.
your TikTok account, right? And they send you all kinds of free things for you to try and then promote on your podcast.
And I also had a paid promotion, so it was like one 60-second video, and I made like $400 from it.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I've also had a few brands send me stuff, and all I have to do is talk about it and make a video about it.
Well, you're hired now to help us because we're
I
just,
tell you.
we keep throwing money at this.
Well, I'll do it.
and
I'll do social media marketing for y'all for free. I'm serious.
Done. Hired.
Mhm.
Oh, speaking of, we've got
the
these
coffee
nice
cup,
mugs.
you know,
You can see them.
anytime you want to start, I'd like baseball hats, t-shirts,
You want me to make merch?
merch. We need merch.
Okay, I can do that too.
So, yeah, wow, this was great.
Do we have to get mustaches and man buns for you to come on?
You guys both already have mustaches, kind of. I think it might be a little bit difficult for y'all to grow man buns, so I'm gonna say just stick with the mustaches and I'll be fine.
A
I'll be
man
fine.
bun is not in my future.
Yeah, that's okay.
It
I'll
is
still do social media marketing for y'all without the man buns.
All right, we'll take it.
done. Okay, good.
Hired.
Well, wait, we might want to
The
wait.
bad news is she might be one of the 6 in 10 that gets fired. So we'll have to see if you missed that.
That's
on the
right.
last
We
episode.
talked about that in
Dial
previous episode. So, but you introduced yourself. Give us a real brief introduction because someone might not have listened to the previous
How
podcast.
rude. So I'm a sophomore in college and I'm studying business and I plan to major in entrepreneurship. Do I need more of an intro or is that good? I feel like it's pretty straight to the point.
Pretty
Straight to the point.
Straight to
A woman of few words, but lots of meaning.
Yeah, I was say I don't think anybody's ever used a woman a few words to describe me.
And you talk fast.
Yeah, I do. Do I need to slow down for this?
No. No, because that way we get more in our 16 minutes of podcast than what
Perfect.
people pay for, right?
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
people don't pay for this anyway.
extra.
However, you need to start us off because we typically, after the introductions and kind of the silliness, we start off with a joke. Um, and I think you have a joke for us.
Yeah. So, okay, how do boomers change a light bulb?
How do boomers change a light bulb? I should know that one, but I don't. Go ahead.
They don't. They just keep talking about how great the old one was.
But that's pretty good.
Okay, well then I'm going to give one which is a follow-up because it's actually how do children tell when their grandparents call from each generation? So a 60s kid says, "Hey, grandma called." A 70s kid says, "Gramps called." An 80s kid, "Granny called." A 90s kid, "Grandmother called." And kids today, "Boomerang."
That's funny.
That one was bad.
I
Come
like that
on,
one. That's
that's
funny.
a
That
dad
was a
joke.
dad
Thank you,
joke. Yeah.
Scout. You can come to the next podcast. You may even replace this might be a Gen Z and a boomer walk into a
You're getting
coffee
fired
bar
from your own
podcast.
podcast. How does that feel?
Man, I guess that means you have to work on the IT with the boomer now in between
Oh,
Oh
episodes.
yeah.
man. You don't know, you listeners, you don't know what we go through, what I go through when we have to set up or we have to tear down or we have to copy or we have to edit
Technology's
because
dumb. Yeah.
it goes right over my
Me
head. I
too,
don't have
though.
a clue. I don't think so. I don't think so. So,
Well, one of the things that we love here on the show is we love talking about the different generations and how the different generations not just can make fun of each other, but how we can learn from each other and that we can hopefully improve each other through our podcast. And so we're really excited this week to have a Gen Zer
woohoo.
and first time having a Gen Zer on the podcast. I think we're what 33
38, 33,
something mid
37.
30s, which would make this show now a millennial. I think, right? A younger
Well,
millennial.
what's kind of interesting is I think we have more episodes out than followers.
Not views though. Come on. I mean, we've got more views.
Well, the
Yeah.
views happen because if we get 100 views, I watch it 98 times and Chase watches it too, and we take credit. So, but anyway, I put up a couple of topics that I'm interested in. I know we talked last time about 6 in 10 companies hiring fresh college grads that have already sent them packing and they're just not cutting it and all that stuff. But I wanted to know and understand your view on social media's impact on Gen Z because you guys that's all you've ever known,
Hmm.
right? Is an iPhone or a Android. Do you guys use Androids? I
I
don't
don't use
know.
Android.
No, so, but like you live in the public
Yeah.
place with your social media. Tell me about that.
So I think there's definitely pros and cons. Going off to college has been kind of nice because I can be able to like kind of not keep in, or I guess keep in touch and see what my friends from home are up to. But I don't know. And also, like we were saying earlier, it's nice for me because I've been using it as a way to like make money, which is really cool. That's not the case for most people, but I don't know. It's definitely something that it almost social media almost feels like a burden to me because it's I don't know, like it's just hard because it's really cool and I'm really thankful for it because of the opportunities that I've had because of it. But it's also just almost it's exhausting just I don't know cuz it's so much information that you're like inputting into your brain, like way too much information. I don't know. And you know what? Because people are not supposed to know what's going on
That's
everywhere
right.
in
I
every
believe
part of the
that.
world and stuff like that. And another thing is like this is a cliche, but like it's social media is a highlight reel, so it's so easy to just see what people are posting and compare it to your life and be like, oh, why that person has such a cool life? Why does my life not look like that? And I know that's a cliche, I know it's overdone, but I don't know. I think there's pros and cons of it. I just think, yeah, since it's all my generation's ever known, it's just definitely I don't know, just growing up with having everything about you on out there, it just interesting. It's a weird feeling. I don't know. There's pros and cons in my opinion.
You live in the public,
Yep,
right? You
exactly.
live in the public and one thing that we talked about in a previous podcast was people don't understand that prospective bosses, prospective mates,
Mhm.
prospective everything else can go on your social media and they can get preview of what you're like,
Yeah.
and they can also get a negative understanding of what you're like with all of the stuff that you put out there. So be careful
Yeah.
what you put out there.
We millennials had an interesting take on this because we were the last generation to grow up without all of this stuff, the elder millennials.
Yep.
And then it all kind of came about, shout out to Tom with MySpace, starting out this whole social media thing. And I feel like there's a pendulum shift with millennials because we've seen what it was like without, and now we've seen what it's like with, and we're seeing a large number of millennials saying, yeah, I'm gonna pull back.
I believe
I don't
that
think I'm
too.
going to share every detail. I'm not going to share what I had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, granted, there's always the mommy bloggers that literally do that all day, every day. That's just their shtick, right? But I think the average person is saying, maybe I don't want all this information out there. And it's actually kind of scary because my wife, she should be a private eye investigator. She will go on to some of her favorite like influencers and people that she follows, and she'll be like, "Oh, that person's redoing this house. It's really really cool." And she'll go on to find where that house is,
Wow.
and I mean, what she can find about people is unbelievable.
Same.
Wow.
Well, I have an experience like that. People are like changing their minds about what they want to be public. So like I said, a lot of times I have a TikTok account that has a lot of followers, and when I had one video that blew up, it got like 2 million views. I had my Instagram linked to my TikTok, but it was private because I just always had a private Instagram because, well, I know I don't. I'm like so paranoid, and so like having all that personal information about myself out there, I don't know. That's always kind of sketched me out. But when I was getting a ton of followers on TikTok and my Instagram was linked, I had like 500 plus requests like every week. And I was like, I don't know what makes the difference to me, like why I don't want them to follow my Instagram, but I'll let them follow me on TikTok. But yeah, like at first I was like, should I make it my Instagram public and let these people follow me? But I'm like, I don't need all these random strangers to know all this personal information about me.
Exactly.
So yeah, I totally get that. I think I've seen a lot of people in my generation doing that same thing because, and even like I know people in my generation who are like who have said that we're not going to let our kids get on social media from a young age because we know the impacts it had on us. But yeah, so I've definitely seen that like pullback from social media and putting all that information out there in my generation too.
Very, very much so. I mean, but boomers, we wish that the internet would never have been invented. We're kind of those, we roll our eyes at you and we roll our eyes at you and we think, wow, stop the madness. But I'm glad to see that you're pulling back,
Hmm.
because let me tell you something. You don't know who's online, because you can pour your. I have a man bun. I'm tall, dark, and handsome on the
And super
internet, right?
skinny. You're super
And
skinny
skinny
online.
and
Yeah.
and muscles. I got
Oh,
the
rippling.
guns,
Uh
man.
huh.
No, that's not. I'm fat, bald old man that dribbles every once in a while. That's how it is. So be careful about that. But you mentioned it a little earlier. Comparisons to one another. When you see, oh wow, they went on vacation, or wow, they've got the brand name whatever, or they've got that and that, then you start comparing yourself to people. And what do you see on that too? Because that's real.
I think it's really hard, especially being a young girl, especially being in college. I don't know. It just, well, also, I feel like it makes me kind of, it makes me feel, I don't know. I don't know. Whenever I'm like sitting in here watching these videos, people, they're so somewhat or seemingly perfect lives, it makes me be like, I don't know. What am I trying to say? It makes me kind of just want everything they have, and then once I realize like how I don't know that not everything on social media is real, it makes me. I guess it just kind of makes me feel like ungrateful for everything they do have. It just makes me want more and more and more. Like whatever I'm seeing, for example, like a girl has like a really cute workout outfit or something. I'm like, oh, I need that, but I don't. Like, and then I know that's partially marketing too, because I'm sure that person can sell
Yeah.
that and make commission off of it, whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, I know with a lot of my friends too. Comparison from what you see on social media is just such a hard thing because I don't know, you're not I feel like you're not supposed to know what everybody's life is exactly like. And also like what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it's a highlight reel. It's not real. That's probably not how that person actually looks in real life. They probably have a bunch of filters on and they're I don't know. You never really get the full picture on social media. And so I think the fact that I'm able to recognize that helps me when I'm like comparing, but I know that's such a big problem with people in my generation.
Well, I always thought about it this way. When I decided to kind of get rid of my social media, I followed 2,500 people or whatever. And I remember seeing that my friend Joe got a new truck. And I was like, ooh, I would like a new truck.
Hmm.
And then I saw another, a week later that Larry got a new truck.
Mhm.
And when you have 2,500 people that you're getting their content feeding through your phone into your brain, you're like, why don't I have a new truck? I should
Yeah.
have a new truck.
Exactly.
But the truth is, in real life, up until this moment in history, you really only knew a handful of people that lived near you. And you would see, well, out of in the last year, I've only had one new friend get a truck. And I happen to know that he got a truck because he got in a car accident and he bought a used truck.
Right.
And so now that's a lot different. I don't feel like I need to have a new truck because everyone's getting one. But I had 2,500 friends spread out across the U.S.,
Mhm.
around the world even. And I said, well, there's seven people that I follow got a new truck. Well, that's 7 out of 2,500.
But what you don't see is them stressing over, oh, I got this monthly payment for that truck, and oh, I've got this monthly payment for my house and my truck and my kids' school and this. And, people struggle. Very few people are independently wealthy, especially as they're coming up in the early part of their career. One thing you said is you need, and I'm learning from what you said, you need to remain a mystery woman. You know what I mean? You need to that will help you get that man that is prepared for you and everything else
Uh-huh.
to be you don't need to put it all out there,
Mhm.
and say, "Oh yeah, I'm do this and I do that and everything else." But just be that's just a little boomer advice for you
Thank
there,
you.
Scout.
I appreciate that.
Well, not only the comparison piece, but think about Scout. Tell us a little bit about your friends. I mean, it seems like a lot of people, and even though the pendulum is shifting, there's still this whole subset of people. Their whole goal is to be famous and rich, and they want to use social media to get that.
Yeah, I think that well, I don't know. The thing with these type of like social media platforms is that there's a certain algorithm. Like the chances of you, I mean, it's just you never know. If, say, for example, me, say I post a TikTok, you never know if it's gonna do well. But I think since people my generation, they see that some people are doing that, they think it's gonna work for them. And so I don't know. Like I think the fact that I've had a few videos go viral, that's just purely random. Because I have a lot of other friends who are like that. They're like, oh, she had a video that go viral, so they post videos like trying in attempts to go viral. But I don't know. I think honestly, part of it is just because, kind of like how, I don't know, it's going back into the comparison piece. When people see like how these influencers' lives look, they're like, oh, they did that from social media. I want to do that too. And so I don't know. I feel like yeah, yeah.
It's interesting because anyone who's built their life around being a social media influencer or selling an item on Amazon or eBay or any of these things, they're literally one code change away from obscurity where
Yeah.
no one would ever see them or hear from them again.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't really like to have all my eggs in the basket of some nerd who lives in his mom's basement writing code for this major corporation. You know what I mean? Like I get nervous about that, putting my family's life on the line for something like that.
So I got a question as a boomer to the millennial. Why are we doing this podcast? Is it to get 50 million views and get sponsors and all that? Or is it legitimately to try to bring together a better understanding of how wrong millennials are, how Gen Z are following right behind them, and how awesome boomers are? I say that tongue in cheek because we're trying to bring together the viewpoints of all the generations. But why are we doing, I had a guy last night, you do a podcast, why? And it's like, well, because I like to spend time with my son and my granddaughter. That's why. That to me, that's the whole thing. Because it's not because we make money. We throw money out left and right.
Yeah, we've definitely lost a lot of money on this so far. But now that we've got a new social media influencer to help
Oh,
us
that's right.
to get this thing boosted up, I think we're in a good spot. However, I think, and I feel like the topics that we've talked about, this one included, is to really bring information into the hands of the people who listen
Yeah,
and help them understand first that just because it's different doesn't mean it's wrong. We can
that's
do things
exactly
in a
right.
different way. But then also to hopefully help people understand where their work colleagues are coming from, why their kids are acting a certain way, how come your parents are a little cray cray. I mean, we're just, we're all over it trying to help people understand that there's different things that have happened in history that have caused the different generations to act or react in different ways.
Right.
And the more we can bring that up, hopefully we can help people.
Honestly, that's why we started this whole thing is for that. But you said something earlier on the previous podcast about having, or maybe it was this one, 2 million views on one of your. Oh my goodness, 2 million
Yes,
people
it was
viewed one
insane.
of your things, and you have 20,000 followers. So why do you do this? Because I know you've pulled back because I know you and I know your personality is like, I feel like I have to respond to every
Hmm.
one of them. And so you've backed off quite a bit. Well, give me about why you started, where you got to where you're at now.
Well, I kind of started posting TikToks. Well, first of all, I had this. Okay, my account that has 20,000 views started as a secret account that none of my friends or family knew about because I just was posting like cooking things and, well, kind of more like I don't know, like holistic, non-toxic living things that I knew that my normal friends wouldn't care about. So I made a whole different account for that. And so I was posting videos on this account for like 2 years. I never really had anything happen. Like I had a few people like and comment and stuff, but it wasn't anything. And then I decided I was going to go to Spain to be an au pair for a month, and I realized that that's something that people would maybe want to hear about. So I
Sure.
made a video just talking about that. I think the reason I got a lot of views is because I had a good hook. I said I'm going to Spain for a month and all I have to pay for is my plane ticket, which was true because I was getting free housing and free food the entire month I was there. And so people hear that. They're like, oh, I want to learn more about
How could
this.
I do that?
Exactly.
Right.
So, yeah. I posted that video and ended up getting 2 million views. And I had just so many people following me because they wanted to know more. They wanted to like follow my journey. And so I made videos throughout the whole time I was in Spain. And those did good. They got a lot of views because it was kind of what people were following me for. But then when I came home, I started posting videos just of like my regular life or like cooking like I was doing before and stuff like that. And then I don't know. I've noticed I've lost quite a few followers, and I can't blame them because I'm not posting what they followed me for anymore. But there's nothing I can really do about it because I'm not in Spain anymore. So yeah, that's part of the reason I'm kind of done a little pullback. But also, just like I said earlier, also with the algorithm, it's so hard to get a video that does good. So the fact that I've had a few that have done really good, it's kind of um not normal. So I don't know. It's just I kind of feel like I'm in a weird place where I don't know what to post because I know the people who follow me aren't gonna necessarily like the content I'm posting, and so yeah.
So we talked last week, and I'm your marketing manager
Mhm.
in this particular thing, the Boomer.
Yep.
Boy, you should be afraid of that one. But we're going to go on a summer vacation
Yep.
this coming summer, and so we're working together to put a hook
Yep.
out there that would say, "Hey, go to Grindelwald,
Mhm.
and you too can go there, watch me, and learn all
Mhm.
about it." And so we're going to try to set something
Yep.
up. You're going to post and we're going to see if you can get 3 million views. And
Mm.
I want 50, the 2 million was 1,999,998 views by your grandma
Uh-huh.
and two by other people, right?
Uh-huh.
So we're going to go pursue that,
Good.
right? I mean,
Mhm.
it will be your spiel and your hook.
Yep.
Does that mean that we're going to record up on top of some Swiss mountain somewhere an episode?
Exactly, right? The Swiss Alps is
Yeah.
where we're going to be, and we're going to be all over. Yeah, you just wait.
We got to record a podcast, and all we had to do was buy the airfare.
Yeah.
Wait, something this is so random, but something that's crazy to me. I also me and my sister, visited Idaho this summer, and Idaho is a pretty small state, but whatever. But we were talking about how many just like how crazy it is that 2 million people have seen my video. And I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that 2 million is more. What's the population of Idaho? I'm pretty sure that like more people have seen my video than live in the state of Idaho, which is insane to me. Yep.
1.9 million
Yeah.
people live in the state of
So
Idaho.
more people, like
Wow.
the entire population of Idaho, basically saw my not them, but like that same amount of people saw my TikTok, which is just mind blowing to me because that's so many people. And the fact that like from just one little 1 minute video, I reached that many people is insane. Especially like we were saying earlier, I'm really into football. So when I'm at my school's football games, that stadium holds 80,000 people, and I divide it by four, and I'm like a fourth of the stadium follows. I mean, obviously not those actual people, but a fourth of the amount of people in the stadium follows me on TikTok. So like seeing that visualization, it's just insane to me.
Well, so did you start out to try to get um, followers and to get 1 million views? And what was your
I
motivation?
didn't really go into it trying to get a bunch of followers and stuff. I just shared that video because I thought it was such a cool experience and I wish I would have or opportunity and I wish that I could have heard about it sooner. because I don't know. And so I kind of just shared it, hoping that other people would see it and maybe be inspired to do the same thing, just because it was such a cool, life changing
No,
experience, you know. But yeah, it just coincidentally ended up getting a lot of followers.
Which is probably why it did so well, because you weren't going in trying to sell someone
right,
something. You were
right.
like, hey, this is something super cool that I found. You should know about it because you
Yeah.
might want to do it one day too.
Very good. So I'm going to jump to another reason, and as we got to start to wrap this one up too. But um, Gen Z, the Generation Z folks, are really driven by brand
Mm-hmm.
values. If it's a brand name, your people got to have it. You know what I mean? But who promotes that are the influencers, and the love of influencers by Gen Z
Mm-hmm.
is off the
Yes.
charts, right?
Yeah, I've personally never been one who really gives into that brand value because I think I don't know. I just think it's a little bit ridiculous. For example, am I allowed to say brand names? Okay, so like Lululemon. I mean, it's a great workout clothes, but the reason people, I mean, it's like $100 for a pair of leggings, and the reason people are paying that much is because it has a little tiny little label on it, and you could just get that same quality. Like if you go on Amazon, you can find the same exact leggings, same material ratio, and everything. And I don't know. I think there's certain brands where it's like, yeah, I am willing to pay a little bit more money for that. Like, I can't even think of it. Like, for example, my Hydro Flask, but that's not because of the brand. It's because I know it's a really good water bottle and I've had them and I love them, you know? But yeah, I think, especially with influencers, that's another thing where it's like, kind of going back to that comparison thing, like I will have, I can't think of an example. Say this is what I can think of: pots and pans. Like I have pots and pans, and I'm like, oh, they're fine. But then I go on TikTok and I see a cooking video, and someone has like these super cute pots and pans, and I'm like, oh, those are really cute. And I would just because like the influencers promoting them, and I would never have that need to like I. It just gives me this whole new feeling of like, oh, I need more. I need something else, and I that's something I notice a lot. Like a lot of time I go on my phone just to scroll on TikTok, whatever, and then I get off my phone feeling stressed because I'm like, oh, I need to get this, I need to get that. And I know that's how those videos are designed. And that's another one of the downsides of TikTok, though, or social media, is because it makes me feel like stressed and makes me feel like I need new things that I never thought I needed until I saw that video that's basically telling me that I need it.
Or that you even have that item already, but you bought this one because they told you needed a
Right,
new one, a different
right.
one, or a pink one, or a blue one, or whatever. Yeah.
I've seen these influencers and people, they're if you have 2 million followers, I know you had 2 million views, but if you had 2 million followers, your influence could be
Yeah.
great on them. You could sell pots and pans
Mm-hmm.
if they're following you. We could sell mini Alps things with our podcast name on there, Boomer and Millennial. We probably there's coffee in Switzerland. We got to be able to figure this out some way. You need to be our influencer to help us grow our
Yeah.
brand.
I will. I seriously will go create an Instagram account for y'all after this. We're done filming this.
So, for all of you future listeners that are starting at the beginning and coming back now, thanks so much to Scout for joining and being a part of the team. And with that said,
You know, Scout, if you kind of think about how we end each one of our podcasts, we're going to let you be a part of this. And, you know, go ahead and shut us down with this one. And what do we say?
Just because it's different.
doesn't mean it's
Wrong.
Wrong. Thank you and
Yes.
enjoy and
Thank
have
you
a
for
great day.
having me.
Come back and visit us. Like it because we get a 5-star review or a like, we get absolutely nothing for it but exposure.
it helps more than people know. Yeah.
Yep.
If you want to support us without spending any money, like, subscribe, 5 star.
Likes are cheap. Thank you. Have a great day.